Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a foundation declutter video. As you can see, I have a lot of foundations here and we're going to go through. I'm going to tell you each foundation if I'm keeping it or if I'm going to give it away to friends and family. Definitely don't want to keep all of these. There's a few that are expired and just a lot that I haven't used. So definitely going to go through each and give it a review. Let me know if you want me to do more decluttering videos, as I can do that. Maybe bronzers or blushes. Let me know in the comments below and I will do that. This is just a nice way to kind of declutter my home, but also give you a mini review on a lot of foundations and why I love them. So if you're interested in seeing what foundations I keep and which foundations I get rid of, then please keep watching. So the first foundation that I'm going to talk about is the Maybelline Dream Velvet. I have this in the shade Natural Beige. I have used this a lot for everyday wear. I feel like if you have texture or pores, these kind of velvety, moussey foundations are really nice to smooth that out. So while I think it is a good everyday foundation, I really haven't reached for it in a long time. So I'm going to put this in the giveaway pile, just solely because I'm trying to declutter and I don't wear this or I'm not reaching for it, but I think it's a good drugstore option. Like I said, if you've got texture, acne scars, or just pores that you want to kind of smooth out, I think the Velvet whipped foundations are a great option. Next, we have the Maybelline Dream Cushion. This is the newest foundation from Maybelline. They sent me the entire line. I find myself using 15 when I have no tanner at all, and then 40 and 45 when I do have my self-tan. I really like this foundation. It has a higher coverage than most cushion foundations, which is why I think I like it. I want to do a review on this, so I'm going to keep all of these shades, but obviously I'm going to keep it because I like it as well. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to do a foundation review for this. I've been really liking it, so let me know down below, and I'm definitely keeping this because this is a great drugstore foundation. Next up, we have the Maybelline Dewy and Smooth. This is one that I am not in love with. I do not have dry skin, and stuff that is dewy tends to be oily on me and slides off and breaks up. So I'm going to be putting this aside. I really haven't used this for months anyways, and it's just kind of been sitting in my drawer, so it's kind of time for me to part ways with this one. This is the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. I have the shade 240, which I think is way too dark. This would be only working for me if I had just put my self-tanner on. So I don't think I'm going to keep this one. Again, I don't find myself reaching for this one. It's just been sitting in my drawer. So I don't necessarily think this is a bad foundation, but I just remember feeling like the coverage wasn't good enough. So for me, this is a pass. Next up is the Maybelline Matte and Poreless. I remember liking this one. I haven't used it in a while, but I think I'm going to keep this one and give it another go. Obviously, it's for oily or combo oily skin, which would be me. I don't want to have an oil slick on my face, so I think this is a good option if you get oily or just semi-oily. So I'm going to keep this one because I remember liking this one more so than the other Maybelline ones. Next, I have the Covergirl Outlast Stay Fabulous. This foundation I remember liking and using quite a bit. I just checked the expiration and this expired at the end of 2014. So this has been sitting in my drawer for quite some time. This one is going to go in the expired list because absolutely it is way beyond the expiration date. But I do remember feeling like this was a pretty good coverage foundation and it stayed on pretty well. So if you're looking for a drugstore option, this is a good option to check out. I have one NYX Total Control. This is a new like dropper foundation they just released. I have not even tried this yet, so I'm obviously going to hang on to it. Let me know in the comments if you want a review on this. I literally just purchased this last week and I definitely need to try it. I just need to put some self-tanner on before I do. So definitely holding on to this because I haven't even tried this yet. Next up, we have the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow foundations. I have shade 208 and 204 depending on my tan. Absolutely love these. I think this is probably one of my top foundations from the drugstore. Absolutely want to hang on to these because I find myself using them a lot. They remind me kind of like the Too Faced Born This Way. They have like a little bit of luminosity, but they really don't budge, which I like. So definitely try these out if you're kind of combo skin, but you want something that's not as drying as the original Infallible. Try this one. So here we have the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte. I know a lot of people went crazy over this one. I do find myself liking this one, but I like it more so when I mix it with another foundation. This can be very, very drying and it has good coverage, but I've noticed that it clings to dry patches. So absolutely am keeping this one, but I would like mix it half and half with maybe the Pro Glow or like a dewy foundation so that I kind of get the best of both worlds. Next up, we have the L'Oreal Magic Nude Liquid Powder. I purchased this a long time ago. This has got to be expired, and honestly, I didn't use it more than a couple times. Don't love it. I don't remember anything really great about it or really negative. It just kind of was a meh product for me. So absolutely going to be throwing this away because I know for a fact that this is expired. This is probably expired in 2015, 2014. Next up are two of the L'Oreal True Matches, and here we go, blonde moment again. I have two sun beiges. Why do I do that? I guarantee it's because I'm like, oh, I need a different shade for when I'm tanner, and then I go to the drugstore, don't remember what shade I have, and then I'm like, oh, this looks good, not knowing that I have it at home, but I remember really liking this. This is a nice drugstore foundation, again, sort of similar to the Too Faced Born This Way in the sense of coverage and how it has a little bit of luminosity, but it's not going to slip off the skin, so absolutely going to hold on to these. I really like these for a drugstore option. Lastly, for drugstore, I have the new L'Oreal Infallible Total Cover Foundation. I have shade 305. I have tried this a couple times and I am not a fan of this foundation. I'm going to tell you right now. I know it's been getting mixed reviews. If you'd like me to do a foundation review, let me know in the comments. Again, I'm holding on to it because I want to do a foundation review because I know that it's a new product. But to be honest, for me, this is just not my favorite. I don't remember it being horrible, but I just don't like it. So that is my opinion of this, but I am going to hold on to it just for review purposes. So comment down below, let me know if you'd like to see that, but otherwise I would be giving this one away. Moving in to some higher end foundation. This is the Too Faced Born This Way. I have two shades. They're very similar. One's just a little bit deeper. I have Sand and Natural Beige. I really love this foundation. I wear this at events a lot because I know it's going to photograph well and it doesn't slide off my face. So if you're looking for a good option to try, I would suggest if you're super oily, you'd want to use like a mattifying primer, but I find myself really liking the finish of this foundation, so I'm definitely going to hold on to this one. Next up, we have a couple Urban Decay foundations. The first one is the Naked Skin One and Done. This is a light coverage, almost like a BB cream with a little bit more coverage. This is for everyday wear. I really do like this. I have this in the shade Medium Light, and I find myself really liking this for lazy days, so I'm going to hold on to it just because it's really nice, kind of light coverage for most days. And then I also have the Urban Decay All Nighter. Do not love this. I feel like the shades are really yellow, and this one is just really cakey for me. It's not my favorite. So this one just wasn't my cup of tea. I'm going to put this in the giveaway pile. And next up, we have two Smashbox Studio Skin foundations. This is the 15-Hour Wear Hydrating Foundation. I really enjoy this foundation. This is one that I would recommend to people that need something that's going to hold on a little bit longer. I know a lot of foundations break up, and that's my biggest pet peeve. So absolutely love this. Going to be holding on to these as well. Next up, we have the Estee Lauder Double Wear Maximum Cover. This used to be my holy grail foundation as far as mixing in because it has amazing coverage. But what I've noticed is it kind of sits on the face and it makes me look cakey and starts breaking up. So I'm definitely going to pass these along. I think it's a good foundation, but really my Marc Jacobs Remarkable has kind of taken this place, and I have 3 bottles, obviously different colors, but it's just not my favorite anymore, so I'm going to have to pass these along to someone that might work better with their skin. Next, we have the Tom Ford Waterproof Foundation Concealer. This is a new one from Tom Ford. Love these. I previously mentioned them in a favorites video. They have great coverage and they really last. They remind me of the Estee Lauder Double Wear Original, but a little bit less drying. I really love these. Maybe a little more coverage even. Absolutely holding on to these. I highly recommend these if you're looking for a foundation that's going to last all day and not patch off, but also has really good coverage. This is a good one to look at. Next up, we have the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. Absolutely adore this foundation. I mix it in a lot with other foundations, and I really like this. I actually went through an entire bottle, and this is why I got the new one, so I rarely ever do that. But I think this gives me a glow because I do tend to go for matte foundation. Sometimes I feel like I'm lacking a little bit of softness to my face, so definitely love this one. I wouldn't love it so much alone, but I like mixing it, so I'm definitely going to hold on to this one. Next up is a Scott Barnes liquid foundation. This is called the Multimedia Foundation. They look strange because they actually are pigment and oil, and he says it's for like a moisturizing look. I got these off recommendation of Tati, and this was a long time ago, and I just didn't like it. For me, oil just doesn't work well with my skin. It broke up, it didn't last, so absolutely going to pass these along. I feel like this might be a pretty foundation for an hour or two, and then it kind of goes to shit. So definitely not in love with these, and they were quite expensive. I'm going to pass these along. Next up are some foundations from Bassam Fatou. I love his makeup. He's not US based, so it's kind of difficult, and I think a lot of people don't talk about his makeup, but I have a lot of his stuff and really love it. He's like a famous makeup artist. I remember really liking these foundations. I've used both of them mixed in a couple times, and I remember they sort of reminded me of the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. So absolutely hanging on to these, really because I need to remind myself to try them more. Sometimes I get in a routine where I use what I know is going to work for me, but I want to give these more tries because I know that I like them when I did use them, so I can kind of form a formal opinion, but I'm going to keep these. So now we're talking about the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer. I think this is another great option if you need some coverage but you don't like a super drying foundation. Again, it lasts pretty well, and I just feel like it's a really nice universal foundation. I think it will work for a lot of people, so I'm going to hang on to this one. I have this Clinique Even Better foundation. To be honest, this one's quite old. Haven't used it in a long time. Definitely don't care to keep it, and it's probably expired, so I'm going to put this in the expired list. Next, I have the Motives Cosmetics Liquid Powder Mineral Foundation. Obviously, you can tell that I have gotten some use out of these. I do like these. Again, these are kind of a moussey whipped texture. They kind of dry down to a powder, so if you have texture or pores, I recommend trying these out. I think Motives is a brand that doesn't get enough hype. There's some really great products in the line, and these are really good, so I'm going to hold on to these. Next up, I have the Makeup Store Sculpt Excellence Foundation. They sent me 2 shades, and to be honest, it didn't rock my socks, and it's really hard to get a hold of. They send me PR, but I don't even know where you would buy this. So for me, I just don't remember feeling like blown away by these. I think I used them once or twice. So I'm definitely going to put these in the giveaway pile just because I feel like someone else could get use out of them. And for me, having so many foundations, they just didn't wow me, so I'm definitely not going to hold on to them. Next up, we have some Natasha Genoa foundations. So the first one that we have is the Face Glow foundation. This one is extremely glowy to the point of I can only mix in like a tiny little drop with my matte foundations just to give me a little bit of glow. So I'm going to keep this one because I do like it. I just find that I have to be very careful because it can make you very oily. So if you have super dry skin, I would try this, but otherwise I would mix it in or don't use it at all. Next, I have the Photo Gen Perfect HD foundation. To be honest, I haven't given this enough of a shot, and I spent a lot of money on this. I have a hard time like decluttering foundations that were expensive. When I say expensive, like $40 or $50, like this was expensive. So for me, I'm going to put it at the top of my list, and I'm going to try it again because I feel like I haven't given it a go in a long time. This next one is Natasha Denona as well. This is the Flawless Texture foundation. Again, I have not given this enough try, and I feel like for the money I spent on it, I should give it another go. Maybe I'll do foundation reviews of these Natasha foundations. I feel like no one ever talks about Natasha Denona products, even though, except for her eyeshadows, and I have a ton of her makeup, so I'm going to hold on to this and give it another try. Next up, I have the Estee Lauder Double Wear. Love. Mentioned this. This was in my Holy Grails of the year. I have Sand and I have Tawny for when I'm tanner. If you are looking for a foundation that is going to last all day, literally all day, not get cakey, and just look flawless, absolutely this is the one. I suggest you moisturize well before, but I love this foundation, so absolutely holding on to these. So next we have the Mallee Beauty Face Defender foundation. I bought this off of QVC, and it's a pretty good size. It's 1.8 ounces. I remember it having medium coverage, but I just didn't love it. Obviously, I barely used it at all, maybe a couple times. I'm definitely going to pass this along. I just don't think it wowed me. It was an okay foundation, but it wasn't anything to write home about. Next up is the Laura Mercier Silk Cream Foundation. If I remember correctly, they redid their formulation, which really sucks. I use this a lot, as you can tell. This was a great one for texture and pores, which is what I look for. It was really smoothed out my skin. I think they don't make this one anymore. I think they reformulated it and the new formula is not as good. And because this is probably expired, I am going to put this in the expired pile because this has got to be a couple years old at least. Next up, I have the YSL Illuminating Foundation Touche Éclat. I think that's how you say it. This foundation, I loved, loved, love. I think this is a great foundation. It is hiding in my drawer, but I remember using this a ton. It just gives a really nice glow, and again, I would mix it in with a higher coverage foundation. I just checked the expiration. A lot of these foundations don't have expiration, so I'm kind of thinking and trying to remember. This one did. It expired in 2015, which is long overdue, girl. This is why I need to do decluttering, because I have so much stuff, and I find something that I like, and then I buy something new and it gets pushed to the back. So I'm going to have to put this in the expired list, which really hurts me because this is really, really expensive. I probably only use, 30 or 40% of it, but it just got lost in my drawers and it's been too long. So I really, really love this foundation, but it's expired and I don't want to put expired stuff on, especially when I have a bunch of new makeup. So I'm going to put this in the expired pile. Next up, I have the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Cream. This is the illumination one. I know a lot of people rave about this, and I really like it as well. It has great coverage. It's really easy to throw on the daily and just make you look put together, but it doesn't have like this thick foundation feel, so absolutely gonna hold on to this. I really, really like this product. Okay, next up, I have the Kat Von D Lock-It Foundations. I have found that people either love or hate these. I do not like them. They cling to dry patches. They are very, very cakey in my opinion, and I just can't seem to get them to kind of meld into the skin. So absolutely going to put this in the pass on pile because they are full and someone else could get some use out of them. So I'm going to put them in the pass on pile just because they're not working out for my skin tone. I just feel like these are only for people that are very, very, very oily, and even then I don't know if it's going to work out. It's just not my favorite foundation formulation. This product is something I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. This is the Hourglass Illusion Skin Tint. So this isn't a full coverage foundation, but it has beautiful, beautiful glow. I found this on an Instagram, a makeup artist page. He used it on his models and they just looked so beautiful and glowy. So I find myself mixing in, I've used a little bit of it. I do find myself mixing it in with higher coverage foundation to give me a glow. So I'm going to hold on to this because I really like the glow that it gives, especially going into the summer months. I think it's going to be really pretty. Next up, I have a Graftobian palette. This is a kind of artsy brand. It's for theater makeup, but a lot of makeup artists will use this on their brides. Absolutely love this. This is the neutral palette, and I believe these retail for maybe $80 or $90, and you get all the shades. You can use this as concealer or foundation, and I like to use it for cream contouring. Sometimes I use it for foundation too. Lately, I've been getting more into it. I like how it has really cool shades you can contour your nose with, and it's just a really nice universal palette. If you're someone like me who is always changing in color because of my self-tanner, I think this is a great buy. You can get this at like camerareadycosmetics.com. You just have to Google it. So you can't get this at Sephora per se, but I really, really like this, so I am going to keep this. Next up, I have this Cover Proof Foundation. This is from the same company that makes Wonder Brow, which is like that brow product that's supposed to stay on for 24 hours. I really hated this foundation. I thought it was not full coverage. It slipped and slid off my face. It was clumpy and I just didn't like it. I felt like an oil slick, so absolutely do not like this foundation. Not gonna keep it. I used it one time and was like, nope, never again. So I'm kind of sad that I wasted my money on it, but it's just not my cup of tea. Next, we're talking about my favorite foundation, or one of them. This is the Marc Jacobs Remarkable. I have various shades to kind of cater to my skin tone, depending on my tanner. I love this foundation. This is the highest coverage foundation I think I've ever tried, and a little bit goes a long way. It's very pricey, but it lasts for a long time. The way that I use this is I mix it in with other foundations. So if I have a foundation that's maybe light to medium coverage, I'll just mix in a little bit of this to bump that coverage up. I don't necessarily love this on its own because I don't think that it lasts on the skin, but if you mix it with other foundations, it will last for you if you set it, especially with like a Laura Mercier powder. So absolutely love this. I'm not going to give these away because I'm continually buying more of them because I love them that much. So next is the new Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundations. I have 3 shades. And I go back and forth with this one because there's a couple days where I thought it looked really beautiful and then other days where I didn't. To be honest, stick foundations are just not for my skin tone. Not my skin tone, my skin type. I just feel like they break up and they just won't stay on. And it really bums me out because I know these are extremely expensive, but I am going to pass these along. If I had to be honest, I'm not going to use them. And I feel bad because I want to keep them because I'm like, oh God, they were so expensive. But I just am not using them and they're just kind of sitting here collecting dust. So I'm going to pass them along to someone that could actually get use out of them. So a new foundation I picked up is the new Fiona Styles Matte Finish Foundation. I have not tried it yet, but I've heard rave reviews, so I'm definitely going to keep it. I actually wanted to do a video reviewing this because I think it would be a really good foundation for a lot of girls that have combo skin or oily skin. So definitely want to hold on to this. I've heard great things about it and I can't wait to try it. Next I have a Nars Sheer Glow Foundation. And I've gone back and forth. I used to use it, then I didn't use it, then I bought another one. I just am not in love with this foundation. It's not that it's bad, but it's just not the best for my skin. I just don't think it has enough coverage. I would much prefer the Armani Luminous Silk or the Hourglass tint. It's going to give me like that glow. So I'm just not in love with this. I'm going to pass this one along because it is really nice and it's full, so I think a lot of people will get some good use out of it, so I'm going to pass this along to friends and family. Next up, I have a brand called Harlow. This is a Australian brand, and you guys know I love indie brands. This is their Afterglow foundation, and they have a lot of pictures of brides and really glowy tan models. So I got sucked in, and I love this foundation. It reminds me of the Armani Luminous Silk. It's got a good medium coverage, very glowy, but it doesn't break up on me. And what I like about this one as well is they have really olive undertones. So they're not yellow or orange. They're very almost green based. So they're just very natural looking. Absolutely love this. I mix this a lot in with my foundation as well. So just wanted to mention this. This is a cool brand. I'm going to start doing videos coming up about just some cool brands that no one talks about. So let me know if you want to hear more about this foundation, but absolutely love these. Going to keep them. So next we have the new Clé de Peau Radiant Cream Foundation. I heard, I believe, Tati using this, and it may have been Casey Holmes that sucked me into this. This was very expensive for such a small little tube here. You don't even get an ounce. But I do like this foundation. I think it's one of those ones that's really good if you have texture or pores. Again, it has almost like a moussey velvet feel to it. It's not very liquidy. So I'm going to keep this probably because I spent like $100 on it. And I do like it. So I'm going to use it because if I spent that kind of money, I need to get my money's worth. Next up, I have this foundation from Kevyn Aucoin. This is the Etherealist Skin Illuminating Foundation. This is fairly new. I bought this because I wanted to kind of review it and I have yet to try it. Here's my problem, and I have to tell you guys this. So I kind of go in between my tanner fading off and having no tan and then being super tan. I always buy foundations for when I'm tan, but the problem is I'm only tan like half the time. I end up like not being able to use stuff because I'm so fair. I go from literally like an NC 15 to an NC 35 like within the week. So definitely want to try this. Let me know if you guys want me to do a foundation review of this. This had pretty good reviews, so I wanted to get it. It is pricey, but I feel like it's going to be one of those really nice glowy foundations. So let me know in the comments below if you want me to do a first impression of this. Next up, I mentioned this in my most disappointing products of the year. This is the Anastasia Stick Foundation. I really dislike this. It did not stay on my face. It just kind of slid off. It broke up. It just wasn't good. I don't think the coverage was even good, so definitely a no for me. This is like a very strong no. Another one that I haven't tried yet, I just got this. This is the Clinique Blend It Yourself Pigment Drops. So this is sort of like the Cover FX drops or the NYX drops I showed you previously. I am definitely going to try this again. Let me know if you want me to do a first impression video. I have so many foundations that I need to do first impression videos, and I really want to start doing them on my channel. So I'm going to hang on to this because this is brand new. I haven't heard anyone even talk about this. The last foundation is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Water Foundation. I had got this previously and I kind of put it in my drawer, and then I did a Tarte takeover and I got more and tried it again, and I really like the finish of it. It's kind of glowy, but it's not super glowy. It's a very watery foundation, obviously a water foundation, where I tend to go for more of a moussey foundation. So this one is a good foundation. It's not my favorite, but I'm going to keep it just for the sake of trying it more because I feel like I haven't given it enough chances, and I feel like it could really be one of my favorites, so I am going to keep this one. Alright guys, so here is a look at all of the foundations that I'm going to be giving away. A few of them were expired, but for the most part I'm going to be giving them away so someone can love them and use them. So in total I am getting rid of 26 foundations, which I think is pretty good. And to be quite honest, I usually return foundations if I really hate them. So a lot of these were not ones that I hated. They were just kind of so-so products. Usually if I really like dislike a product immediately, I will return it to Sephora because I don't want to waste $50 or $40 on a foundation. So that's why you're not seeing a ton of like nasty foundations that I really disliked. But hopefully this helped you with some descriptions of these products and why I don't want to keep them. Okay, and then for the foundations that I'm keeping, I tried to kind of separate them. So it is going to be these right here. In total, I am keeping 43 foundations, which seems like a lot, and it definitely is. But for someone like me who's a beauty vlogger and going to be doing videos, I think it is definitely a good start. We can start weeding through these and maybe do a declutter here in a few months because we know I'm going to get more foundation. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and it gave you some mini reviews. Let me know what declutter you want me to do next, whether it be, oh my god, lip products, we'd be here all day. I'd have to go through each kind of category, or eyeshadows, or blushes, bronzers, powders, anything like that. Let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next video.